We're in the kitchen at the South Campus for this episode of Faculty Spotlight. Today we're talking to Alejandro Casillas. He's a culinary arts instructor. Mr. Casillas, how are you? Good to see you.
All right, thank you so much.
First time here in the culinary arts department for Faculty Spotlight.
Yes.
You are one of our instructors.
Yeah.
So thank you for your time and thank you for welcoming us into your kitchen. Tell me a little bit about how you came to Laredo College. How long have you been here and so forth?
So this is I'm in my fourth year, starting my fourth year. This fall, actually, is going to be starting my fifth year. But I'm actually a product of the program. I started back in 2017 and I graduated 2019. And then I traveled, not the world, but I traveled to Texas. I traveled to other states. I've been to New York and McAllen, Texas. And I just started working in the kitchen. I loved it ever since I started here in the program. And then through fate, I just came back to Laredo, started working at the country club, other restaurants, Border Factory, and then Chef Perez, who's the now chair of the department, contacted me and asked me if I wanted to be an adjunct. So I started with an adjunct as an adjunct instructor, just did one class a semester, and I started liking it very much because of the schedule. It was very flexible, so I applied for the full-time instructor, and that was in 2022. So yeah,
There's a lot to unpack there. I have a lot of questions now because you said a whole lot, and it's a fascinating story that you were a product of the college. Dumb question.
Yeah.
Are you a chef? Do people call you Chef Casillas?
The students do. You don't have to call me. I don't necessarily like to be called chef all the time, but it's a sign of respect in the kitchen specifically. I don't know if you've watched The Bear.
Yes.
Okay. Everybody calls each other chef, even though they're like the delivery guy or whatever.
Right.
It's just the mentality of the kitchen. The kitchen is very disciplined, the kitchen is very organized and structured, and it sort of gives that purpose. So creating that culture of everybody calling each other chef, even though they're not the boss, they're not whoever. And again, some people might disagree, but me particularly, I don't mind if you call me Mr. Casillas, Chef Casillas.
Right. What qualifies somebody to be called a chef? I mean, outside of the kitchen environment, where is there a certain class you have to take to be classified as a chef?
No. Here, what my understanding, my philosophy about somebody being called chef is that the knowledge behind it. So, and the experience, obviously. Like an entry level, they will mostly be called a commis chef, which is French for demi chef, which is sort of like the entry level chef. But no, like somebody that is being called a chef, it's because of their experience, it's because of their background, because they've been in so many years of experience. Might constitute somebody else calling each other a chef.
Take me back to when you first came to Laredo College. How did you end up in the culinary arts department? Did you want to do something with?
No, I actually, it's a funny story. I actually wanted to do both that culinary arts since I graduated from high school, and I sort of was in the gray area of almost going to Austin to the Golden Blue. I don't think it's there anymore. Or CIA, which is the Culinary Institute of America in San Antonio. But at the same time, I was taking dance classes, and my parents kind of saw me more interested in that, and so they said, "Oh, well, why didn't you take dance?" And so I did. I graduated, with a bachelor's in dance.
Okay.
I took that, and then I came back and said, obviously, dance is a very competitive. It's very demanding, just like culinary arts. But again, I came back to Laredo. I graduated from Edinburgh, from UTRGV. Go Vaqueros. And then, I came back and I was just like, okay, I still have that itch of I want to cook. I want to learn how to cook. and so I just, my sister actually told me, hey, they have this program at Laredo College, and I was like, oh, right on, like, and it was sort of like brand new. I think they only have like 3 years here. This is a brand new,
Right.
relatively brand new campus. Compared to the main campus, and so I as soon as I got in, I got hooked with the classes, with the kitchen overall, because again it gives you a lot of structure, it gives you a lot of purpose, I think, or at least that's how I see it, and yeah, I mean, I just literally just.
So you've already gone back through the dance.
Yeah,
that's done. What did you think you wanted to do with dance? Like, how did you want to make that?
I wanted. The life of the dancer is mostly for performing arts. So you want to perform all the time, or want to get into a company. Some people, after a certain amount of time, again, experience, they either become instructors at a high school, or become entrepreneurs and develop their own studio, and they take people in for classes, whatever. So I was sort of like in the gray area. I didn't know what to do with it, and I was just so confused, along with some other personal problems. And then, and again, it was an itch. Like, this is not. I'm not going anywhere with this. I wish I was. And then in the back of my head, I still had that itch, and I went, okay, let me just. And it's only 2 years, so you know what? While I figure this out, let me do this and have at least something to fall on, because I had nothing else to fall on. And so, that made me decide to, okay.
Why would, decide, obviously it was just more than it. You had some desire to cook. Where did that come from? Did you cook as a child?
As a Mexican American, as a Mexican American, I was raised in Mexico for most of my childhood, and it sounds sort of cliche, because everybody says their grandmother. And my grandmother with my mom.
It's not cliche.
Like half of the time, half of the time I was with my grandmother, and she used to cook a lot, and she used to do this. She would do cheese from scratch, like literally cheese, cream, flour tortillas, corn tortillas, all of this like very simple homemade food. And also cheese, but so that took me back, and it connected with something from a professional, one of the best chefs I think in the world, Chef Thomas Keller, said this word of the chef, or we become chefs to nurture. That word, nurture. Nurturing really does something to the soul of people through food, with your hands. So that nurturing, that word nurturing, really gives me the purpose of change somebody's day, maybe somebody's life through food that I made. It sounds really cheesy a little bit, but I feel like that's the reason why I do what I do.
What was your favorite dish that your grandmother did?
She would do, again, it's very simple, like just the homemade flour tortilla. She would do beans and put that queso, it wasn't queso fresco because she aged it, so somehow, I don't know how she aged it, because queso fresco is really like fresh and white, and that cheese was a little bit aged. I think she aged it with some like cheesecloth and just let it ferment, and she would use that, just slice it up and put it on top of the that's what I personally loved the most when I was in with her, and also corn tortillas with just literally salt, like freshly made, and just put salt and rolled it up, and that was like my favorite snack growing up with her.
How thick were her flour tortillas?
I would say regular. No, not so thick. Like I couldn't compare it. Do you know naan bread or
No.
no? It's sort of like a flat bread.
Okay.
But a little thinner than that. It's sort of like this.
Okay.
Like this thick.
Because some people make them really thick.
Yeah. No, but it's sort of this one was. I don't remember the thickness.
Yeah.
I remember the size. It was like this size.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you decided to come back to college for culinary arts, and then you went off. And did you have any idea that you wanted to teach, or that was
No, not at all. Not at all.
that was never on?
No, not even when I came back. Until I started with the adjunct instructor, then I was like, okay, there's something here. And I just wanted to teach other people my philosophy, because I feel like it is an art, but it also gives you a lot of, again, I go back to that word, that's more structure, discipline. And during the pandemic, sorry that I'm drifting off. During the pandemic, I told my students, there's a lot of anxiety with nowadays with teens and everything. And in the pandemic, I got a little bit of an anxiety attack, and I started to cook immediately. And sort of like magic, it's sort of paid off that anxiety, because it gives you structure. It gives you a purpose. Okay, I'm doing tacos. Yeah. And just focus on doing tacos, and the anxiety literally fades off. And I try to, convey that to my students, that it doesn't only give other people nurture, it doesn't give, nutrition to other people, but also nurtures you, nurtures your anxiety, nurtures your, maybe even depression that you don't even know that you have.
And it's like a therapy.
Yeah, it's very therapeutic to cook. And
where were you during the pandemic?
I was here.
You were taking classes, or you were already teaching?
No, I was living in McAllen. Like right after I graduated in 2019, I already had a job in McAllen waiting for me. So literally, I think it was the next day I graduated. I really remember May 11th. May 12th, I took the day to move everything, and on May 13th, May 13th, 2019, I started working at this restaurant called House Wine and Bistro in McAllen, Texas.
How did you find the job in McAllen?
Recommendations.
Nice.
Some chef from here. I started working here in Country Club, Laredo Country Club, and then one of the chefs there knew the chef from McAllen, called Chef Larry, and I got in contact with him. I got an interview while I was still in school. I was about to graduate, blah blah blah. I went to do an internship. I went for a day. I did the I cooked for them for free, and then just to see how I developed, how my performance is. They come this day, you're hired, blah blah. I did all the paperwork. Then May 13th, I'm already there. So pandemic hit, and then I had to came back. But I was still sort of like living, like I still had my apartment over there. But most of the time, like it was 7 months that I was here, and I was not doing anything. And I think that induced the anxiety. I'm sure for a lot of people can relate. And
so for you, cooking sort of got you out of that and helped you along the way and get through the
Yeah. At some points, I wanted to quit because it was just sort of went back to like, okay, another thing. This doesn't leave any enough money for me to do, like to sustain myself, just myself. But then I got back into things. Thanks to my dad, I got back into it, and I went back in October of 2020 and started working at another restaurant, and it was a more fine dining experience, and I got a lot of more experience, more organization, more cleanliness, because in fine dining, restaurants that are more fine dining, it's all about being organized and being clean. And those two words are, if any of my students are watching this, that I hope I keep telling them every day. Literally every day I tell them, be clean and organized, clean and organized. That is what is going to separate you, like a home cook from a professional cook. And I think even though you're not planning on doing this into a career, that being clean and organized is going to take you. It's going to be more noticeable than you think in any other career.
What was the program like when you were a student? What did you like about
It was longer.
Really?
I love that it was longer. Like we have lectures here, and then okay, we're gonna cook. So it was 6 hours here on just one class,
Wow.
around 6 hours, I think. So yeah, I love that they took the time to make you understand what goes behind any dish, or maybe even any ingredient, and also the history behind it, because food is part of the culture, no matter where you're from. I love that anybody can cook anything from anywhere, and play around with different flavors in food. It's just like discovering a whole new world. It's a whole new world of flavors, of history, of culture, of richness, and I just like I did with dance, I fell in love with cooking and the arts, and everything behind it, every culture.
Were you surprised? Were you surprised when you came to the program that you loved it as much as you did, or did you expect that?
No, I didn't expect it at all. I wanted to have I just wanted to have it as a backup, because I wanted to go back to dancing, and I fortunately, thank God, I didn't. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
Right.
Because it was very competitive being in dance, and not that here is not competitive with the culture, but there are obviously there's a little more pay than being a dancer or being a performer or being maybe an instructor, than being a culinary arts instructor. But that's not why I do it. I do it because, again, I want to inspire. I want to have more cooks, have more people that know how to cook. I think they're more valuable than somebody that doesn't know how to cook, because at some point everybody is going to be alone, living alone, or being a little more independent. And knowing how to cook, I always say this to people from when I went to career days. Someday you're going to be alone, and you're going to, cook for yourself, and you don't know how to do anything. Like, you're just going to be taken out. That's going to be more money out of your pocket for somebody else to cook for you, or to have takeout, whatever it is. So you come here investing in you, to learn how to cook an egg. Just how to cook an egg, and how many different ways you can cook an egg, and all the nutritional value behind it, and all the history behind it, and all the culture behind it. Just one thing, and how many ways you can cook that. Again, that's going to take you. And if you want to make it into a career, that's going to take you even further than you may think.
But you see it as a valuable skill, just definitely as an individual to be able to do that.
Definitely, yeah.
What are most of the students that come through the culinary arts department here looking for? Are they looking for a career in culinary arts, or are they doing it like you did, just as a background?
I would say it would be out of the 10, and it's not 10, but just to give you a percentage, out of 10 students that come in here, I would say 5 of them wanted to make it into a career. The other half, it's a mix. It's a mix of, I just want to do this as a backup. I just want to learn how to cook. I just want to know. I just did this because they're making me do this, because I think it was easy. And just being honest, some of them do find out, oh, this is hard. Oh, this is not, what I expected. So they drop, and that's fine. I mean, they're not. I mean, they're just finding. No, there's no shame. They're just finding what they're not. They're looking for something, and they're just trying to find it. And sometimes
It's like discerning a vocation.
Correct. Yeah. I just want
to figure out, is this what I want to do?
Correct.
For the rest of my life.
And I've been there, so I'm not trying to shame anybody.
You can relate.
Yeah, I definitely can relate.
Were you? I would like to go back to when you were actually here as a student. Were you surprised when you got to the program that you had actually done?
Yes, definitely, because I didn't. Well, I mostly didn't expect to love it so much. And when I graduated, I was so pleased with myself and eager to be doing more. I wish we have even now we want to grow the program, we want to grow the department so much so that we can get also like a kitchen like this. We have 3 kitchens. This is the middle kitchen. A kitchen like this or something similar over there in the main campus. Like that will grow so much, especially because the city is growing. And yeah, mostly when I was graduating, I was eager to do more, to learn more, and to transfer that knowledge to other people.
I didn't realize that there was actual lecture in
Yeah.
arts.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's a lecture portion of it. Since the pandemic happened, it sort of changed to a hybrid. So part of the lecture is done online, and then the practical work or the hands-on work is done, in the kitchen. In the kitchen. But yeah, no, lectures are done. If it's a face-to-face course, we sort of do it like this, like we did when we were here, when I was here. The lecture portion, it was just like an hour, 45 minutes, more or less, and then come here and do the.
What do you lecture on exactly? Is it about the history of
It depends. No, yeah, it depends on the course. For the next 8 weeks, we'll lecture on service, because it's a professional cooking meal service. That's the name of the course. And so we, beginning of the 3 months. No, sorry, 3 months. I'm talking about 3 weeks. The first 3 weeks we focus on the parts of the meal service, being a server, part of being also a chef, or working at a restaurant, working at any food service establishment. There's also a front of the house portion, right? So in those first 3 weeks, we talk about that part on how to set up a table, how to work. As a cook, most of us don't have enough customers or social skills, so we're trying to work on it, develop them. At least be aware that the customers are the ones who are going to give you the job, are going to keep giving you the substance.
I mean, it's part of the experience. From
Yeah,
our perspective, you have to understand you're there for the
Right.
customers, and
Right.
looking for them, but the whole experience is part of it, right?
Correct. So the front of the house, we look at that, and also part of how to present the table and present the food. We mostly focus on that, so we look at different designs from other chefs. We looked at different histories from other people. Here in Laredo, we try to focus more on not just the plating, but on the on taste. Okay, so we sometimes with the lecture comes some interaction or interactive activity that we everybody gets food and try to find the difference between different flavors. Let's say a mayonnaise or a sauce. Is this over salted? Is this rightly salted? Is this under salted? Those 3 things, so that they start to develop, their palate. As a chef is the number 1 thing, or some people might say number 2. There are several things, but that we look at that within the lecture, and then once we know what's under salted, now we can meticulously properly salt a sauce on just one thing, and then we move forward with other things like the whole meal. But yeah,
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
How would you describe your teaching style?
Very. It sort of varies within the structure of one of the class. Because I tried to begin with very organized, because we have to be always clean and organized. With mise en place means that everything is in its place, all of the ingredients, everything that you're going to be using, it's here in the table with you, and then you can start cooking. Okay, so the cooking is the fun part. So I try to, sometimes I can do a demo, sometimes we don't have time. So I just, as they're cooking, I sort of, walk them through the process, and then that's the fun me. But at the beginning, with the mise en place, it's very structured. Like, you have to do this, this, and this. Okay, and it's very disciplined. I try to convey a lot of discipline in the beginning, and sort of like in the middle of cooking. Once they get the hang of it, depends on if they're a first year or second year. I feel like I can be more lenient with them. I can be more loose with them in my teaching style. I try to, but I always try to tell them, okay, this is how it's supposed to taste. Always be tasting. Always be tasting. So it's sort of like a rhythm.
Yeah.
So start, very structured, and then a little looser, and then at the end, when they plate, that's when their palates come in, and I sort of try to push them into being more organized. Always being behind them, telling them, okay, taste, because I will not help you develop. The only way I can help you develop your palate is for me to be behind you and not taste it for you and say, okay, this is ready, or this needs more, or
Yeah.
So,
how would you describe the typical student right now in college?
the typical student,
In your department?
mostly eager to learn, but also like eager to cook, because they all like they see that it's fun, but it's also organized. So I start to feeling at least this semester that they're a little more eager to learn. They're waiting for me outside. They're waiting for me. And that's what I like. That's the typical student always wants to learn more, to do more. And sometimes when there's no time, I try to, okay, sorry, we have to cut it or save this for next day, for next class, and they sort of get a little bit. So if I were to choose one word, I would say eager, or I don't know.
And that's tricky, because I'm sure a lot of students come through here because they just want to get the hands-on and looking. But it's so much more than that.
Yeah,
There's something you talked about.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes behind it, and so the fact that they're now coming in eager to learn is probably a sign of the department as a whole. There's got to be word of mouth, and so the students that are coming know that they're going to learn and they're eager to do that. Would you say that's accurate?
Right. Yeah, definitely. I'm an example of it. Because of word of mouth, I got to be here, and then because of word of mouth, I think the people are still coming in, and they see. I hope they'll see that we care. And I always try to, at the end of the class, I always try to tell them show them that I care, that I'm not just trying to discipline them, and I don't bother them, just for bothering's sake. I bother them because I want them to be better than me. I want them to be knowledgeable of the possibilities that they have with just knowing how to cook an egg. I mean, I go back to that because it's so simple, and still there's some people that do not know how to cook an egg.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What does the college offer for culinary arts? It's a certificate and
It's a certificate, 1-year certificate, yeah, and then an associate applied science.
Right. So what would a student be able to do with the certificate?
With a certificate, you can already start working at a restaurant and move your way up from there. It mostly just gives you the knowledge and the tools for you to succeed at a restaurant, so that you're not lost. And then that's where the real school starts. The real life, where here is where you learn the basics, the fundamentals. We give you the tools, we give you the knowledge, we give you the practice. Because there's always an internship towards the end, whether it's 1 year or a social applied science. You always, get hands-on professional experience in a professional restaurant, and then you're ready. You should be ready to start, or at least knowledgeable. If you're not planning to make it into a career, you're knowledgeable on knowing how to cook, and you can defend yourself in a professional kitchen. And if you decide to make it into a career, then we go more into the business side. Then with that, you are more knowledgeable. But again, the real school, it's always out there.
Yeah.
In like making it into a restaurant. If you want to make your own restaurant, if you want to make your own food truck, you can. Because now you know the business side of it, the math, there's a lot of math. We're just developing one recipe. You think you just do tacos, but how much were those tacos cost? Labor, rent, water, all of that business side math. There's a lot of math behind that. But now you know it, and now you have those tools to either you can start a restaurant, or you can go to a hotel, to a cruise. There's a lot of other options.
And there's really no way to teach them everything. It's really that real life experience.
Exactly. No, that's why we try to give them, and that's towards the end of the program, so that they know. Okay, this is what after this course, after you graduate, this is what, or after you receive the certificate, this is a taste of what it's like. That's the main reason. This is a taste of what it's like, and either you're in or you're out.
Yeah.
But it is very important. It is very crucial to know that what's behind. And if you don't decide to make it into a career, at least you know or learn to appreciate when you go to a restaurant all of the work that's behind your plate that's in front of you. And I think that's very important for other people to empathize with the cooks.
Yeah. I'm sure you've had some success stories already. How does that make you feel when you see students go on and do?
You just said that immediately. Not just with me, but I've had colleagues when I was here that are already in New York. That's the hardest place, or one of the hardest places to make it, and to do anything. And she's already being a cook. And I also have other. To my own horn. I have 2 students that are already in professional kitchens, in fine dining. I just want them
you feel
really accomplished, really emotional, because I feel like it's really great. It's really I can't find the word, but it's just rewarding. It's just rewarding of knowing that I'm making the right choices in my teaching style, in the way I do things, and my life choices overall. If I cannot think of the word right now, but it's really rewarding to.
Rewarding it's pretty good work, because it motivates you to continue.
Exactly, it just gives me back, motivation and hope and energy to keep doing more and more and more, because I told you, I want them to be better than me. I want them to be out there. I want them to experience how rewarding, even though I always tell them the first 3 years are the most in the kitchen. Like, as you're starting, you're getting paid to cook. The first 3 years are the hardest one, and then after that, it's going to be a little more rewarding. Why? If you stick with it. Because some people don't last a year, but if you stick with it, 3 years after starting the 4th year, you're already starting to have more responsibilities, and that takes you up a notch until you're knowledgeable enough to get paid more, to do more, and to boss around or lead. You want to become a leader, or I want them to become leaders. That's my ultimate goal. I want them to become leaders and to be better. That's
What is Chef Casillas' specialty?
This is one of the most asked questions. I do not have one, but I always give it. If I have to choose anything that I can do right now without looking at a recipe, it's a risotto. A risotto is I think it's an Italian dish made with a short grain rice. Your typical rice, it's a long grain, and it absorbs less starch than the arborio. So a risotto you have to add, I think, 4 to 6 times, depending on the arborio, 4 to 6 times more water than your typical rice. So the ratio of the typical rice is 2 to 1, like 2 water, 1 rice, and this one will be from 4 to even 6 water, 1 rice. And it's a very creamy, very rich, sort of like arroz con leche,
right.
Sort of like that texture. But this is a more, I guess I would say, a more yeah, more rich, and it's very versatile. That's why I love it so much. It's one of my favorite dishes to do because it's very versatile. You can make it with just simple Parmesan and peppercorn, or you can make it with, you can Mexicanize it with, with chiles and with other.
Can you add protein to it at all?
You can add anything to it. Like it's a, just think of like a bowl of rice or like a plate. It's usually a flat plate with very, very creamy, very cheesy, very rich rice. And then you can put, your chicken, your salmon, your beef, and all of those juices are gonna transfer, and they're gonna have, they're gonna absorb that flavor into the rice. So maybe even if you don't put the meat, if you put the stock or like the juices inside of the rice, and then you mix it, and it tastes like chicken. It tastes like whatever protein you put in it because it absorbs everything that you put in.
What do you do when you have free time?
Cook. No, I do some dancing with my wife. I tend to just watch movies. I love watching movies.
What's your favorite?
I watch a lot of movies.
Fair enough.
I would say I'm very fond of Harry Potter.
Oh, okay.
Because I grew up with watching those movies.
You mentioned the bear earlier. How accurate is that series as far as it goes on in the kitchen?
It is. I'm not entirely in that world anymore. But I mean, I've been in restaurants. I've been in the kitchens. I would say it's 80 to at most 90%, depends on the episode. 90% accurate.
Yeah.
Because it's a little dramatic. It is a little dramatic with how things can get. I would call close to 90% accurate.
That first season gave me a lot of anxiety because it was longevity.
It is.
First season.
It is because, I mean, depending on the type of restaurant again, but even if there was a sandwich shop in Chicago, but even that, with somebody that comes with a lot of discipline, a lot of structure, a lot of organization, which he, and having lost his brother, I mean, he just wants to have that that knowledge transferred to who he's being surrounded with.
Yeah.
So he just wants to keep that alive. That is very accurate. That is something that if I was in his shoes, I would totally understand. I can totally relate. But yeah, it's just sometimes it is a little dramatic with the dialogue.
Yeah.
It is a little dramatic, but I mean, but it's Chicago, so I mean, it could be, yeah. It could be. Some people would say no, like it's 100% accurate, but I would say it's a little dramatic. So that's why I said 9.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
You dance. What kind of music you like to listen to?
A little salsa. Actually, when you got here, I was just listening to salsa. That's one top 3 favorite genres to dance to and listen to. Just to listen, it's really dynamic and fun.
Well, you do have a 3-month-old as well, so
Correct.
When I asked if you had free time, you really don't have free time.
Oh no, right now, no. Thankfully, I have a healthy 3-month-old girl named Luna. Hi, Luna. Hopefully, she sees this in the future. And te amo, mi amor.
There you go. Mr. Casillas, Chef Casillas, I should say. Anything else that you want to mention that I can ask?
Just to thank you, and I hope that we can do this more often. I hope that I can show and motivate other people. I really want them to learn how to cook, not just an egg, but cook overall, and learn that through passion and discipline, this can turn into something beautiful. This dish that you are eager to learn, or this type of food that you're eager to learn how to cook with. It's very simple. It's just a matter of you showing up to the kitchen, and that's already a win. Of you just keep showing up. A lot of people feel defeated because it can be very difficult with the culture in the kitchen, the professional kitchen specifically. It can be very difficult, but through you just showing up, you already win. And just keep showing up, just keep showing up. Again, that's something I'm paraphrasing something that Chef Thomas Keller said, and just by you showing up, you become a little better, and that's that's all.
Well, thank you for coming back to Laredo College.
Thank you.
And thank you for your time. We'll definitely do some more things here in the kitchen next time.
Definitely. Hope so. Thank you so much.